Hello. So I am back from holiday. Now, I could launch into saying how rested, relaxed, and all the usual things I feel, but when I was coming back, or rather, when I got back, I started to think about how I used to feel when I went on holiday. And I want to talk about it from the beginning of my career, just to kind of add a little bit of a backdrop. So I remember at the beginning of my career, first of all, never wanting to take a 2-week break. And always making sure that even when I was on a holiday that was maybe 10 days long, that I was fully dialed in, knew what was going on. But the reality was that wasn't actually, the reason why I was dialed in was nothing to do with the workload itself, I realized. It was more to do with the emotional, psychological background. And what do I mean by that? I mean the dynamics. You know, it was that feeling of anything can happen, and it had happened. You know, you go away on holiday, everything seems fine, and when you come back to work, all of a sudden you're frozen out. And that might actually feel very school ground, school territory, playgroundish, but that was the reality. And actually that was the reality of what I realized a lot of Black women are balancing. It's the not knowing when you come back. Better to be in the loop than be faced with an awful surprise, being frozen out, not knowing what's going on. And when I thought about it on another level, I was like, but hold on. This is another part of inclusion. It's not about your presence. It's about feeling okay to be absent. So when companies, when CEOs, when, you know, chief diversity inclusion officers are thinking about inclusion and how do we build an inclusive company, give people the freedom to be truly absent. So when you go to that level and then you start to work it back, what do you get to? You start to look at, what culture am I fostering? Is it toxic? Who is the person that's creating this trickle-down toxicity? And once again, to my other video talking about courageous leadership, the person is not anonymous. You know who it is. I know who it is. Everyone else knows who it is. And I can still remember at the time, you know, and and as I said, at the time, I have a face in my mind, but I still remember at the time, the caveat was always, this person did a great job. But this person's great job was my comfort, other people's comfort, security, well-being was sacrificed for this one person doing a good job. So when you think about, we want to create an inclusive company, include absence. It's not just about feeling as though you're okay to take 2 weeks holiday. It's not just about feeling okay to even work from home. It's about knowing that when you come back, you will still feel, to the extent that it's possible, to the extent that you already do, you feel like you belong. You feel like there's still a space to you, and you don't feel as though things are moving. Sorry, my desk is further down there, so I'm going to do my hands up here. That things are moving outside of your control is fine, but not when it's to your detriment, to somebody's detriment. Now, when we look at, you know, as I said, oft quoted because it's actually a very good report to a certain extent, you know, when you talk about the McKinsey report together with Leanne, looking at how Black women feel within organizations, feeling excluded, then you add on the dynamic of working against inbuilt stereotypes about Black people, Black women, Black people being lazy. Holiday isn't a holiday. Holiday is not. It's not there as rest and relaxation. It's just working from another place. It's still keeping an eye out to make sure nothing's gone wrong, to make sure that everything is as the way you left it. So that was like really what I wanted to come back and really talk about, because, you know, we really focus on being in the office, and obviously that's super important. But we should also be able to take a step back, step away, without the fear of something bad happening, without worrying about, oh, there's a meeting. What does this meeting mean? I've been there, I've seen it. You see a meeting going in your diary and it's like a really, really sketchy title, but you see that the whole department's been invited and you're on holiday and you're like, what's going on? Should I dial in? Shouldn't I dial in? And then someone sends you a message, oh yeah, it was this, this and this. All those sorts of things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have meetings when people aren't in the office, but think about critical meetings. Think about the broader context of who's out of the office. Or when I say who's out, who's not participating, who shouldn't technically be on email. That's what I mean, because loads of people still aren't in the office. So who is technically on holiday? And if they're still keeping an eye out because there is that fear of being excluded, the fear of something dramatic happening. Sometimes it's even the fear of, you know, jobs being changed. I've come back to reorganizations. So, you know, it's all of those things. So once again, just think about the broader context of what inclusion means, because it really is deeper, broader, wider than just how do I feel when I sit at my desk? How do I feel when I'm logged in? It's also how do I feel when I don't have to think about it? How many days before returning to work do I start to log into my emails? How many days before my holidays finish have I started to think about, oh, what am I going to have to deal with? Because as we've discussed before, a lot of the times, even if it's just something simple as changing our hair, that's already something we have to brace ourselves for when we go into the office on a Monday, especially if we had straight hair on a Friday and then we have plaits on a Monday. Thanks for taking the time to listen. But I'm back and I look forward to seeing you speaking and engaging over the next few weeks again. Bye-bye.